Welcome to another episode of TechSpectrumPro. Today, we dive into the realm of controller-based networking and software-defined architectures. Imagine a world where your network is as adaptable as your business needs, as easy to manage as your laptop, and as reliable as the sunrise. That's the promise of controller-based networking. It's a paradigm shift in how we approach network design and management, moving away from traditional manual device-centric models to a more flexible, automated, and centralized structure. This approach leverages a central controller that manages the entire network, making it more efficient, scalable, and easier to manage. On the other hand, we have software-defined architectures. These take the concept of automation and centralization a step further. They decouple the network's control and data planes, allowing for more dynamic, programmatically efficient network configuration. This separation allows network administrators to streamline operations, speed up service delivery, and respond quickly to changing business needs. Both controller-based networking and software-defined architectures are pivotal in today's tech world. They represent the future of networking, a future that's dynamic, adaptable, and efficient. They allow businesses to keep pace with the ever-increasing demands of the digital age, from handling massive amounts of data to supporting a multitude of devices and applications. Controller-based networking and software-defined architectures are not just buzzwords. They are transformative technologies that are redefining how networks are built and managed. They enable a level of flexibility, scalability, and efficiency that was unimaginable just a few years ago. They're changing the game, and it's a game every business needs to be playing. Now that we have a basic understanding, it's time to delve deeper into these concepts. As we move forward, we'll explore the differences between traditional networks and controller-based networking, delve into the intricacies of software-defined architectures, and explore the relationship between these two transformative technologies. So, buckle up and get ready for a deep dive into the future of networking. To truly appreciate controller-based networking, we first need to understand traditional networks. Traditional networks function like a symphony orchestra, with each piece, or in this case device, playing its part independently yet harmoniously. Each network device, be it a router, a switch, or a firewall, has its own control plane. This means they have their own set of rules or protocols to follow and manage their traffic independently. They are self-governed with their own intelligence and decision-making capabilities. However, this independence can also pose challenges. For instance, imagine having to tune each instrument in an orchestra individually. It's time-consuming, isn't it? Similarly, managing and configuring each device in a traditional network can be a complex, tedious job. And let's not forget the potential for errors when dealing with a multitude of separate devices, each with its own set of protocols. Now, let's shift our focus to controller-based networking. If traditional networks are an orchestra, controller-based networks are more like a conductor-led symphony. In controller-based networking, there's a central authority, the controller, which governs the network devices. The controller has a global view of the network and can make decisions about how to manage traffic most efficiently. This centralized approach simplifies management and configuration tasks, reducing the potential for human error. It offers greater agility, as changes can be made to the entire network from a single point. And with the controller's global view, it can optimize network resources, improving overall network performance. But perhaps the most significant advantage of controller-based networking is its scalability. As the network grows, the controller can easily handle the increased number of devices, making it a future-proof solution for expanding businesses. As we've seen, controller-based networking offers significant benefits over traditional networking. Now, onto software-defined architectures. Software-defined architectures are revolutionizing the way we approach networking. But what exactly are they? Well, let's unravel this mystery. Software-defined architectures, also known as SDAs, are an innovative approach to designing, building, and managing networks. They separate the network's control plane, the part that decides where your data should go, from the data plane, the part that actually sends your data to its destination. This separation means that we can now manage and control our network from a central point using software applications. No longer are we tied to manually adjusting individual hardware devices. Imagine the ease and convenience. But why are SDAs important? Traditional networking approaches have their limitations. They are difficult to manage, slow to adapt to changes, and often rely heavily on proprietary hardware. SDAs, on the other hand, are a breath of fresh air. They offer unparalleled flexibility. Because the control is executed through software, we can quickly and easily modify our networks to suit our changing needs. Need to add a new service or adjust your network's layout? No problem. With a few clicks, your network is updated and ready to go. Moreover, SDAs are efficient. By automating network management, we can dramatically reduce the time and effort required to maintain our networks. This efficiency translates into cost savings, as we need fewer personnel to manage our networks and can make better use of our existing resources. SDAs also promote innovation. Because they are not tied to specific hardware, we are free to choose the best tools for the job, regardless of the manufacturer. This freedom fosters competition among vendors and drives the development of better, more efficient networking solutions. In a nutshell, software-defined architectures are a forward-thinking approach to networking that offers flexibility, efficiency, and innovation. They are transforming the way we design, build, and manage our networks, making them more responsive to our needs and more adaptable to change. Software-defined architectures, with their flexibility and efficiency, are indeed a game changer, but how do these two concepts relate? You might be wondering how controller-based networking and software-defined architectures relate. It's quite fascinating, really. Controller-based networking and software-defined architectures, despite being distinct concepts, share an underlying philosophy. They both aim to abstract the control plane from the data plane. In simpler terms, they both seek to separate the decision-making process about where traffic is sent, the control plane, from the actual process of sending traffic to the selected destination, the data plane. In a controller-based network, the controller acts as the brain of the network, making decisions about traffic routing and implementing them across the network. In a similar sense, a software-defined architecture also utilizes a centralized control mechanism. However, it is more flexible and can be programmed to adapt to varying network conditions and requirements. Now, where things get really interesting is when these two concepts come together. In a software-defined, controller-based network, the controller is not just a decision maker, but also a programmable entity. This means it can be programmed to make decisions based on complex algorithms, real-time network conditions, and even predictive analytics. The result is an incredibly flexible and responsive network that can adapt to changing needs and conditions in real time. The combined benefits of controller-based networking and software-defined architectures are numerous. Firstly, they offer increased network agility, as the network can quickly respond to changing needs and conditions. Secondly, they enhance network performance, as the network can be optimized in real time. Thirdly, they improve network security, as the centralized controller can quickly respond to threats and vulnerabilities. Moreover, the integration of these two concepts paves the way for automation. With the programmable nature of the controller and the flexibility of the software-defined architecture, routine network tasks can be automated, freeing up valuable time and resources. So, while controller-based networking and software-defined architectures are two distinct concepts, they complement each other remarkably well. Their integration creates a more flexible, responsive, and secure network that can adapt to changing needs and conditions. These two concepts, though different, work hand in hand to redefine networking as we know it. It's been quite a journey, exploring controller-based networking and software-defined architectures. We've traversed the landscape of traditional networks and delved into the world of controller-based networking. Remember how we talked about the centralized nature of controller-based networks, where a single entity, the controller, manages the entire network's behavior. This is a stark contrast to traditional networks where each node makes its own decisions. Next, we ventured into the realm of software-defined architectures. These architectures, as we discovered, revolutionize the way we manage and control networks. By decoupling the network control and forwarding functions, software-defined architectures enable the network to be programmatically configured. This makes networks more flexible, scalable, and adaptable to changing needs. We also discussed how controller-based networking and software-defined architectures are intertwined. The controller in a controller-based network can be a software-defined controller, which uses software-defined networking principles to manage and control the network. The two concepts, though distinct, are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they can work together to create a network that is more efficient, flexible, and responsive. Throughout our journey, we've seen how these technologies are transforming the networking landscape. They're not just changing the way networks are managed and controlled. They're also opening up new possibilities for innovation, enabling us to create networks that are more adaptable, resilient, and capable of meeting the ever-evolving needs of businesses and individuals. So as we wrap up this episode, let's take a moment to reflect on what we have learned. Controller-based networking and software-defined architectures are not just buzzwords. They're powerful tools that can help us create better, more efficient networks. And as networking professionals, it's crucial that we understand these concepts and how to leverage them. With that, we conclude our deep dive into controller-based networking and software-defined architectures. Until next time, keep exploring the world of networking with TechSpectrum Pro.